It started after she died. My mother. The house was quiet in a way that wasn't just silent. It felt hollow, like something had been scooped out of the air and never came back. The first thing I noticed was the feathers. Small ones, pale grey. In the hallway, on my pillow. Then came the butterflies and moths, gathering at the balcony light. Even in the middle of winter. Even when the windows were shut. Now, in my culture, they say those are signs, spirits, messages. I wanted to believe it, but I also didn't. Because if I believed it, it meant she was still close. And if she was close, why didn't she just speak? A week later, I got a new Instagram follower. No profile picture, no posts. Just a name. Janet. At first I thought it was a cousin. Or maybe my uncle. He's clumsy with technology. So I messaged the account. Hey, are you related to Janet? No response. I checked again the next day. Still nothing. But that night, I saw it had liked a post. One from months ago. A picture of my daughter, asleep in my mother's old rocking chair. Then it started happening more. A post of my partner's birthday, liked. A picture of me and my daughter baking cookies, liked. A selfie I took on one of my worst days, where I wrote, I miss you. I wish I could hear your voice again. It liked that one too. Never commented. Never followed anyone else. Just me. Always me. I checked the IP location once. It was unavailable. I ran reverse searches. Nothing. Friends said it was probably a bot, or a hacker, or maybe some weird app glitch. But it wasn't random. It never liked memes. Never touched throwbacks. Only the moments that meant something. That's what convinced me. I think it was her. Not in a horror movie way. Not some ghost crawling through wires. But a presence. Something soft. Something just nudging the edge of the veil. A way of saying, I see you. I'm proud of you. I'm here. I still find feathers sometimes. Still get likes from that account. I don't message it anymore. I don't need to. Because I know now, some mothers never stop following. It was just a selfie. One picture. Taken in my bedroom mirror. You know the kind. Good lighting, hairbrushed, smile that says, I've got it together. I took it, posted it, forgot about it. And then the comments started. Your reflection's not smiling. Look closely, her head is turned. Is this edited? I laughed. I even commented back, made a joke about glitchy mirrors. But then I looked again, really looked. And I swear to God, it wasn't me. The reflection, it had my face, my clothes, but the eyes, they were staring at me. Not at the camera, at me. After that, things got weird. My phone would freeze whenever I opened the photo. The mirror in my room started feeling off, like it watched me. Then came the dreams. Every night, I'd be inside the mirror, pounding on the glass, trapped, screaming, watching as the other me lived my life on the outside. She wore my face, used my voice, but she wasn't me, and she smiled, wrong, and it didn't stop with me. The post went viral. People messaged me, hundreds of them. Your photo changed my mirror. I had a nightmare where your face was in my bathroom. There's a woman in my reflection that isn't me. Some even said they woke up at night to see someone standing at the end of their bed, not a shadow, a copy. Slightly off, like a wax figure trying to move. I had to stop it. I went back to my grandmother's house, She used to tell me never to sleep facing a mirror. I thought it was just old-world superstition. But in the attic, I found her spellbook, leather-bound, handwritten, pages filled with rituals and warnings. There was one entry: to banish a parasitic reflection, you must see your image as it truly is, and break the pact made in ignorance. It listed ingredients: a black mirror, a photo of the reflection, a lock of my hair, and a digital flash to burn false light from the form. So I did it. I smashed my vanity mirror, taped the photo behind black glass, burned the lock of hair, and snapped the camera flash at exactly 3:33 a.m. There was a sound like cracking ice, and in the mirror I saw her, the other me. She looked scared, and then she vanished. Since then, the photo's gone. Vanished from my phone, from the internet. Even the Wayback Machine didn't keep it. People stopped messaging. The nightmares faded. But sometimes, I catch my reflection blinking before I do. And sometimes, late at night, my camera app opens, all by itself. And I wonder, did I trap her or let her in?
They say some curses are born in hatred, but the most dangerous ones come from love. I knew a woman once. Her name was Lucy. She was radiant, gentle, everything pure, but she was never alone. Where she walked, something followed, a shadow, a perfect double, her twin in flesh, but not in soul. It smiled when she cried, laughed when others turned in fear. People fled from her. She was haunted, and she didn't know why. I had to know. I had to help. And so I searched, followed the trail back to her grandmother, Bridget Fitzgerald, an old Irish woman, her face a map of grief, her hands worn from penance. Long ago, she was proud, strong, but life had hollowed her out. You see, Bridget had a daughter, Lucy's mother, and one day she vanished, gone without word or trace. Taken, Bridget believed, by a man of power and lies. In her fury, Bridget cried out. She cursed him. May his bloodline suffer. May peace never touch them. And the world listened. She didn't know, didn't realize, until years later, that her daughter had not vanished. She had run off with the very man Bridget cursed. Lucy was his child. Bridget's curse, born of rage, had twisted backward, crushing the only love she had left. That shadow, that thing, it was the curse made flesh. A spirit born of blood and wrath. It clung to Lucy. It fed on her. And when I told Bridget, when she saw what she'd done, she broke. She gave up her life, joined a convent of Poor Clares. No speaking, no possessions, just silence and prayer. Day and night, she wept for what she'd unleashed, prayed to undo it, begged heaven to listen. And one day, the shadow was gone. The curse had lifted, but Bridget stayed, not as punishment, but as penance. Sometimes, the most terrible monsters are not the ones we fear. They are the ones we create, with words spoken in the dark, from a heart that's broken.
It's hard to explain this without sounding broken, but I think I need to say it, even if no one believes me. It started about 2 years after Ben died. He was the kind of person who left little notes in coat pockets. He'd text me in the middle of the day just to say he missed me. He was present. And then one rainy night, he wasn't. A truck ran a red light. I got the call at 3:04 a.m. They said he died instantly, but I don't know if I believe that. I still have his last message. Be home soon. For a while, I couldn't delete anything. I left his Facebook profile untouched. It was comforting at first, like a shrine. Photos, old messages, jokes I'd forgotten. Then, one night, I got a notification. Ben has sent you a message. It just said, "Hi." I stared at it for 10 minutes. Clicked it open. Thought it was a scam. There was no sign of a login. No account recovery. Just the message. Just him. A few nights later, another, "Are you there?" Then he started showing up in tags. In photos I took after he died. I posted a picture of a hike I did alone. He was tagged in it. No one could explain it. I messaged Facebook. Reported the activity. They said it was a glitch. A memory sink. Maybe an old data cache. But then the messages kept coming. And they changed. It's cold. I don't like being alone. You forgot the way I laugh. Then one night, I couldn't sleep. I was looking through our old chat history, just scrolling, and suddenly, a new message. From his account, "Let me in." I felt the air shift. That same night, my phone screen lit up. No alert. Just bright at 3:04 a.m. His time of death. It stayed on for hours. Battery didn't drain. I unplugged it. It stayed on. Then came the last message. "I'm outside." I didn't sleep. I sat in bed, holding the phone like a weapon, listening to every creak, every breeze. At 3:06, the hallway light turned on by itself. Since then, nothing. No new messages. But sometimes when I'm alone, I hear the vibration sound, even though my phone's off. Sometimes I feel someone brush past me in the kitchen. And in my dreams, he never speaks. He just stands there, in the clothes they buried him in, staring like he's trying to remember what it feels like to be alive. I used to be afraid he was gone forever. Now I wonder if he ever really left. I was 17, and they say I was beautiful. They always begin with that. Not the scream, not the blood, not the moorland sky blackening above me, but beauty, as if it mattered in the end. I was a maid at Penhill Farm. Hard work, cold hands, warm fires, and eyes, so many eyes. Matthew's were the gentlest. He limped, poor boy, but he watched me like the world watched the stars. From a distance, with longing. They said we were sweethearts. Maybe we were. Maybe I liked the way he looked at me. But that doesn't mean I loved him. It was April 14th, 1844. A Sunday. He asked me to walk with him across Bodmin Moor. Said he wanted to talk. He was quiet at first, then tense. Angry. Desperate. Said I had others. Said he'd heard things. I told him I belonged to no one. He didn't speak again. Just led me toward Rough Tor. The sky was thick with rain clouds. The wind like breath down your neck. And when we reached the stream, he turned to me with eyes like thunder. I saw the knife. I felt the first cut like cold water. The second, I didn't feel at all. He left me there, in the bracken, in my gown and red shawl, face down in the moss. He walked away wearing my Sunday best. He wore my bonnet. He said nothing. They found me days later, face pale, throat open, mud in my hair. They hanged him, of course. Matthew Weeks, said he confessed. said it was love turned to rage. But not all believed. Some say he lied to protect another. Some say he was mad. Some still say he was innocent. I don't remember his face in that moment, only the knife. They buried me. The papers wrote of beauty and murder. Poets sang my name. But my story did not end in the earth. Each year, on the day I died, I walked the path again. In my green gown, in my red shawl, my silk bonnet tied neat beneath my chin. No one hears my voice, but they see me, drifting across the moor, following the stream, toward the place where my name was silenced. Some look away, others follow, but none can stop it. I was 17, and they say I was beautiful, but I remember only the silence, and the wind, and how it still calls me home.
We do not always bury the dead. Sometimes they linger. Their curses wind through root and branch, whisper through walls, and wait. Let me tell you what happened at Castringham Hall, a grand estate in the quiet woods of Suffolk, and how a single tree, an ash tree, came to drink vengeance from the soil and drip poison into the bloodline of a family. It was the year 1690, and Sir Matthew Fell, magistrate and master of Castringham Hall, was a man of rigid faith and fearsome certainty. A pious man, but a hard one. One night, while seated in his chamber, his candle guttering low, he glanced out the window and saw a woman, a widow, wealthy, respected, but also suspected. There she was, moving silently in the branches of the great ash tree outside his window, not with the frailty of an old woman, but with grace, calm, deliberate, as if she belonged to the night. He said she was harvesting something, leaves, bark. No one knows, only that he watched her descend the tree and vanish into the fog. He said nothing at first, but the sight festered in him, and soon enough he spoke, loudly. In court, he declared her a witch. A trial followed, as they did in those days. There was no defense against fear. She was condemned, hanged at dawn, and on the scaffold with the noose around her neck. Mrs. Mothersole looked up at Castringham Hall and said, "There will be guests at the hall." Then the trap fell. Sir Matthew returned to his quiet life, until one autumn morning he was found dead, alone in his bed, his body contorted, his skin blackened, veined with something dark and strange. No wound, no illness, only the window flung wide, and the old ash tree creaking gently outside. They buried him with questions, but no answers. 100 years passed. The estate fell to his descendant, Sir Richard Fell, proud, young, skeptical, a man of science. He laughed at the tales, refused to move into any other room. He took Matthew's chamber, and so began the nights. At first whispers, scratching, then the servants fled, refused to enter. One maid swore she saw something large, moving in the branches. Sir Richard dismissed it all, until one night the noises grew louder, thumping, scrabbling, as though a dozen tiny claws were working their way down the walls, toward the bed. He called for the tree to be felled. They brought axes, ropes. The tree cracked as they split it apart, and from within its hollow heart came a sickening sound, like silk tearing and bones cracking. Then they saw them, spiders, but not of this world. Their bodies were bloated. Their eyes gleamed with hunger. They burst from the hollow like rats from a sinking ship, spilling into the daylight, hissing, scattering. Not creatures of nature, familiars, born from something older, twisted by hate and held alive by the roots of that cursed tree. Mrs. Mothersole was no witch. Not then, but perhaps, in death, she became one. Betrayed, condemned, forgotten. But her vengeance, that took root, and it waited in wood and shadow to poison the blood of the men who wronged her. So remember this, witches may die, but the ash tree still stands.
Many thanks for treading these tales' dark paths. If it's chill gripped you, like, subscribe, and comment below.